All right, Ben Parker of CardinalSportsReport.com with Stanford kicker Emmet Kenney. So first of all, just talk about how has fall camp been treating you as a kicker?
It's been a great camp so far. I'm really happy with my performance and how our unit is doing as a whole. We're working really hard out here, and the bars have been set in the past with a history of great kicking here at Stanford, and so we're doing everything we can to keep that going, and we're excited to get going.
Talk about you're coming in replacing Josh Cardi, who was a decent kicker here, I should say.
Right.
Yeah, in the NFL, he was amazing.
Absolutely.
But what did you most learn from Cardi and just kind of his following from him? What did you most learn from him?
Absolutely. I mean, I took advantage of the few years I sat behind him, and I was trying to pick his brain because he's just so knowledgeable about kicking as a whole, and obviously he has great technique as well. So I learned from him, whether it was how to work the mental side of the game or things you can do differently with your steps or your swing plane. And I was always trying to get a little bit of tips from him, and he was always so helpful and so supportive of me, and just the same way I was to him. And so I'm really grateful for the time that I spent with him, because I know it's made me a better kicker.
Yeah, too. And just what areas of your game have you most been kind of working on, improving on for this season, knowing that you'll be taking on this new role as the starter?
Absolutely. I'd say one of my focuses is just making sure my kickoffs are automatic touchbacks. I'm really happy with where those are. Josh obviously set that standard. We really didn't have many kicks returned on us in the past few years. So that's been a big focus of mine, making sure I'm getting it out the back of the end zone every time. And that's been going really well. So I'm looking to keep that going. And then also on field goals, really just trying to be me, do the best I can. Really been working on the mental side of the game with field goals and just focusing on my process and not worrying about the result and just let the result be what it is and then move on to the next one. And it's been really successful for me so far, and I'm really just hoping to keep it going into the season.
What do you feel your strengths are as a kicker? Are you more of a like a leg power guy? Are you more of like a accuracy inside a certain range? What's your kind of like bread and butter?
Well, I'd like to think myself as a good combination of the two, obviously. I'm really confident in my distance. I know I have the ability to make kicks from over 60 yards. And so, every day I try to go out and show that to the coaches. And then but accuracy, at the same time, is definitely more important than power. That's something that I work on every day. I'm trying to get consistent grouping, making sure that you have the smallest margin of error possible. And so I've really been working on both sides of it. And I'm confident that I can go in and make those long 60-plus yard field goals if it's necessary. But also, I've set the goal of being 100% and in. From 40 and in, both in fall camp and then throughout the season. I've been able to do that so far, so I'm just looking to keep that going.
Yeah, too. And how do you, what is practice like for you guys, especially? How much time do you kind of spend on kickoff, field goals, extra points? Just because there's less, it seems like there's less you have to do in some respects, because kicking is just kicking, but there's different things. So how do you kind of budget your time on a day-to-day basis?
Absolutely. Really, it's kind of different day to day. It depends on what we're doing, whether it's a kickoff day. Sometimes we'll have a kickoff return day where the kickers aren't as involved, or a field goal day. So a day like today, usually we go out beforehand, warm up because we have a situation at the beginning of practice, work on field goals. In the middle, get a little bit of kickoff work on some different stuff we want to do scheme-wise, and then finishing out the practice with field goals. So we go back to that as well. So we kind of hop between both throughout the day. And it's a good mix of both, and we've been kicking several days a week, trying to make sure that we're doing everything we can to prepare and to make sure that we're at the highest level possible in both. So we've been trying to balance it so far in camp.
How much time do you spend working on the onside kick? Because that's a tricky thing to kind of nail. How much time do you kind of work on that particular thing?
Absolutely. Onsides are important. They can change the outcome of games. So we've absolutely put in some work on those as well. And I've spent time with Josh Cardi over the years, working on different onside kicks and gimmicky things to do with those. So we're hitting them every week because it can be a difference between a win and a loss. So we're doing our best to make sure we have those down, and I think we're going to be installing it here soon, and excited to get to work on those as well.
Academically speaking, just talk about your major and why did you choose that?
Absolutely. I'm majoring in science, technology, and society. I have a focus in innovation and organization, and I'm really interested in just seeing ways that AI application is going to have implications to our society. I've taken a couple really interesting classes that piqued my interest in the area, especially a history of Silicon Valley class, just showing how over the decades here, just 5 short decades, the landscape has just completely changed, both physically and in financial ways as well. So those learning about kind of how this area has changed the world, it just piqued my interest in learning about the ways that the science and technology we create can impact relationships and communities. So that's what I've been exploring, and I've really enjoyed it so far.
What have you most enjoyed about being a student athlete here at Stanford?
Being a student athlete here at Stanford, I really couldn't think of anywhere better to be. I've had a fantastic experience. You know, you walk around on campus, you don't really get treated like you're anybody different. You know, I would assume at other schools, being a football player, you know, people might treat you a little bit differently. It's really not the case here. You're just another student, which I really appreciate. It's important. My academics are very important to me. I know they are to all my teammates as well, and that's why, you know, we made the choice to come to this university as well, you know, chase for championships, and that's been in our program's history as well. And, you know, we're trying to get back there right now, and I really think we're going to do it with this coaching staff we have and the guys in the locker room. You know, Stanford really just gives you the best combination of both when it comes to academics and athletics. So and I know all of us work hard in the classroom. I certainly do as well, and we're working hard out here as well. And you know, we want to be the best at everything we do. So I'd say that's probably my favorite part about being a student athlete here.
2 more questions before I let you go. First of all, on the Punters, talk about what you've seen from them, and is there any kind of kicker-punter rivalry, or not, or is any what's that kind of dynamic like?
Right, absolutely. Yeah, I love working with the Punters, you know, because we're really connected with each other because they help us with the holding. So, you know, we're around them every day, even when they go off and do their punt stuff. We always meet up at the end for the holding, and you know, those guys work incredibly hard. Both Aiden and Connor, they're incredibly skilled punters, guys that are going to help out this team. And you know, I think that they've had a solid camp so far, and you know, they're going to keep it going, and you know, they're going to do their job. And you know, like I said, for kicking, it's the same with punting. We've had a great standard set here over the years with Ryan Sanborn, Jake Bailey, guys like that on the punting side of things. So I expect them to fully keep it going. And as far as the rivalry, it kind of depends. I mean, we went out to a little mini golf outing here a week ago, and the Kickers took the win, I have to say. So I think Connor and Aiden are still upset about that, but you know, we love competing in whatever ways possible, and I'm so grateful that we have those guys in our group.
Final question for you. Do you have a soccer background, and do you have any kind of relationship with the guys on the soccer team, since they kick like all the time?
Right. Yeah, no, I grew up playing soccer. It was one of my favorite sports. I actually stopped playing it after my freshman year just because I knew I wanted to focus on football. Because in North Dakota, back where I'm from, they're in the same season in the fall. So it really made it kind of difficult to do both. So I had to give up soccer, but I still love it, still follow the sport. I'm a diehard Chelsea fan, and they have a match on Sunday against Man City. I'll be waking up at 8 to watch that, so I'm really looking forward to that. And, you know, as far as the guys on our soccer team, it's so difficult with the student-athlete schedule because, you know, we have class obligations, trying to maintain a social life, and as well as your athletic commitments. So it's a little bit difficult to be able to hang out with those guys as often. But, you know, I'm in a couple student groups with a few of those guys, and, you know, I know they do a phenomenal job working hard. We see them in the weight room all the time, and I'm excited to see what they do this year and to support them as they go try to chase some championships as well.
Perfect. Thanks so much, Emmett, for taking the time, and good luck rest of fall camp period into the season.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.